What's up, everybody? I'm Scott.
I'm Jason.
And you are listening to Liquid Kernedge. This last week has been nuts for the weather.
I just have to comment that someone must have not listened to us for a long time, because we had a 200 listen spike this week of people catching up with Liquid Kernedge. So thank you. Big shout out there.
Well, I like to think it was people trying to find out if we're actually talking about women wanting to release bees into the bedroom during sex.
Oh.
So I like to thank our social media engagement last week on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all at Liquid Kernedge, talking about how some women prefer to have bees released in the bedroom during sex, which is just weird to me.
Hey, we also got South Africa represented now on our map. So congratulations, South Africa. Welcome to Liquid Kernedge Nation, my friends.
Wow, that is crazy. We are literally worldwide.
No, I mean, the United States, we've pretty much got them all covered. We have a few listeners in Maine and South Dakota who haven't listened yet, but we're still trying to reach out to you guys. No, we don't
have Maine yet.
And
Your daughter literally lives in that
I've been
state.
out to Maine now. Maine is their capital is Augusta, and there's only 15,000 people in their capital.
Oh, well, maybe you could just text your daughter and say, "Hey, do me a favor. Just download it on Podbean and just listen. You don't even have to listen to it all the way. Just give us 5 minutes of any random episode. Maybe Avril Lavigne and the Lizard People. And that way we can
try to get someone in Vermont too.
In Vermont? Well, I do know a maple syrup conglomerate over there.
We can reach out to Bernie Sanders too. Maybe he'll listen.
Oh, maybe he will. He's
he doesn't have time
right now, so I don't think he's got time. He's trying to make everybody feel the burn or whatever he says.
Oh, gosh.
How was your weekend?
So we got all our furniture moved in. We started cleaning up our backyard. We decided we cut down some bushes that we don't want anymore. So we're starting to do the cleanup. And we just got cable. We've gotten cable again. We decided that we were gonna, splurge and get cable. And I don't know if you've ever seen this, but when you buy a house, the home garden television channel becomes much more interesting when you own a house.
I don't necessarily agree with that, because I've owned a house since 2003, and that's never. I've always been more interested in bar rescue or restaurant rescue. Never once have I turned on HGTV and be like, yes, I have to see how that butterfly collector and that science tutor can afford the $3 million home in East Side.
See, those are the best. There's a show called Fixer Upper that I started watching, and it's got Chip and Joanna Gaines. I'm not sure if you're familiar with them, but they're like one of these couples that does flips. And all I can see is, man, if I take out this wall and I, switch my bathroom around, and oh man.
It always sounds so easy when you watch it on TV. The execution is never as easy. It's never as smooth. But if it's your thing, man, I say go for it. We have very close friends that actually just bought. They're in the middle of flipping a house right now, which I checked out this weekend, and they have taken an old house built in the late 70s and early 80s and given it such a completely beautiful facelift. What they've done, the house inside does not match the neighborhood outside, if that makes sense. My goodness.
Well, we bought a flip. I mean, that's what we bought. We bought an older house, and they totally remodeled the interior, cleaned it up, all brand new fixtures, bathrooms, kitchens, and it's beautiful. I love it.
Oh yeah. And our friends that are doing that flip, they actually just bought another house next to their their current house downtown, which is actually a historic 3-story home in downtown Kingman. And their next project is to fix that up to move into that one. So we wish them the best of luck, because we will never see them again, because they'll be so invested in flipping or fixing up their house. So we love you. Godspeed. Good luck. When you need help moving, we'll help you find someone to call.
I think that's the one thing I've learned is these shows are kind of pitted against you, because, we'll do the renovation in 7 weeks and you'll have your house going in 2 months. And I'm thinking, that's when you have a professional crew and they're doing all the work. And, it's not like this couple doing it on their own with, no help. They're doing all their own work. It takes a while, especially when you're working a full-time job.
Oh yeah, it becomes a weekend lifestyle where you spend every waking moment in those homes trying to get everything done and get everything ready to be sold. And the hard part is you have to keep reminding yourself, and this is what I keep reminding your friends, is that you're not living here. You're just trying to flip this. And in this case, this is a starter home for somebody. So not everything has to be super high end and nice. You can just put the basic stuff in there because it's nice and clean, and you'll still get your money's worth
Yeah,
out of it.
I to a certain extent, I guess I could agree with that.
I mean, if it was a neighborhood like you guys are living in, some higher upgrades, yeah, I can get that. But this particular house we're discussing right now is literally a starter home. It's something that some young kids can get into at a good price and start their lives with. They don't need to have the Viking range stoves or whatever
Oh,
right
but they're
away.
gonna
They can
love
wait
it, and
on
they're gonna
that.
say, "Oh my gosh, we got the perfect home."
Yeah, yeah, right.
That's right,
Until they
baby.
find the
That's
next
right.
one.
That's right.
So, from what I understand, right, you spent your weekend in Phoenix, literally doing yard work in this
Yeah.
heat
Now,
in the summer heat.
positive is I'm getting more used to the heat, so I can actually do a lot more work. I feel like I'm getting more acclimated to the heat. The negative was by the time I finally got done at like 5, I didn't want to do anything else but veg on the TV and watch home improvement shows.
Yeah, well, that'll do it to you. That will definitely do it to you. Well, when you get done, maybe you can hit up our EP Tom and give him some backyard tips because I know he's always thinking about doing his backyard. And maybe after seeing yours, that might be the motivation for him to actually do something cool with his backyard. And if you want to give Tom some tips on what to do with his backyard, hit him up at liquid_EP on Instagram and Twitter.
It's too expensive. I got to be honest. Home ownership is way expensive. Like everything constantly. I mean, I've been to Home Depot like 100 times already in the last like month. I mean, I should have bought stock in Home Depot. I really should have. That's, but I didn't. I wasn't forward thinking on that.
The one thing that I learned as a homeowner, or I've learned over the years, is that there's no such thing as just one trip to Home Depot. You almost, even if you measure everything perfectly and correctly, you never get away with just one trip to Home Depot. Sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's 3. It becomes a lifestyle. You're right. Every time you buy a house, you should actually get stock in Home Depot or Lowe's.
So answer me this question: 40 years ago, you didn't have Home Depots, right? You didn't have YouTube videos to show you how to do. How did people do the work that they needed to do?
Oh, back then the men were men, and they just learned. Man, you were in the military, or you had those working man jobs. That's just what you did. Your dad, your grandpa showed you how, and you just learned from watching them, because they made you do it when you were kids.
Maybe, yeah, because Noreen's dad he bought his house in '75 and still lives in the house, right? Well, they've been talking about maybe having to move into like an assisted living, like a smaller apartment or something to make it a little bit easier. Because when you're 89 and 86, it's hard to keep up a big house.
Yeah,
but we were kind of chuckling because he made the comment, "Oh, this house, I mean, I could easily sell this house for this price." And we're looking at it like, "Oh my gosh, that is the original kitchen." Like the original kitchen. "Oh, but this has upgrades." And Noreen asked, "Well, what upgrades?" "Well, see that used to be the oven hood. Now it's a microwave." I was like, yeah, no, that's not an upgrade anymore.
Yeah, I guess the concept's there. It's just, the execution might be a little short-sighted right now. But at that age, good for them for trying, and hopefully they listen to their kids when it comes to some tips for
yeah. Like, in your house, what do you think is the best part of your house? Like, what do you like most about your house, your current house, not your old house, but your current house?
My kitchen and my bedroom,
like
and bathroom.
Your master suite.
Because my master suite and my kitchen. I mean, and for only a handful of our listeners have actually been inside my house, but I have a massive island. So you could literally fit 15 people around my island. I have a very open floor plan, but my bedroom is huge. It's next to the kitchen and living room. It's the biggest room in the house. I can easily fit 2 king size beds in there with a couch and plenty of room to spare. And I just have this massive closet. So it's hard for me to not love my current home.
Yeah.
You know, I got approached about selling it last week, and my response was, well, I have nowhere to go because housing prices are going up. And they're like, well, you could buy another house, but I don't want to buy another house.
Yeah.
I like the house I'm in.
I've heard good things about Kingman, that right now it's in a good niche for prices going back up again.
Yeah, my home's actually right in the right alley because there's 2 new highway interchanges coming in real close. So I'll have shopping and restaurants right across the street from me in the next few years. So plus I have a bigger home. I have 2,300 square feet. So that's a lot of room for just myself.
Well,
and 3
my
small
mom
dogs.
in Vegas bought her house, and she paid $135 for the house. And when I looked on Zillow, it's already up to $225 because where she's at is really close to where the new football stadium is going to be. And, location.
That's it. If she can rent Airbnb her house for, 10 weekends a year during football season, she could probably put a big chunk into her mortgage and pay it down.
Well, and the great thing is she doesn't owe very much because she put a lot down when she first bought it. So her debt to income, or not debt to income, but her loan to value is like minuscule. Yeah.
Oh, that's good for her.
Home ownership has its pluses. I mean, I figured that, everyone that says, yeah, why pay rent when you're paying someone else's mortgage when you can pay your own, you're buying your own. But when you have to change, the air conditioner, you have to put a new heater in, or you have to change water heater. Those expenses are crazy.
Oh yeah, it's not cheap being a homeowner. Plus, I live in an HOA, so I get annoying letters all the time if I have like a weed grow in my front yard, or God forbid I leave my trash can out 10 minutes past after the trash man comes. It's so many just unusual, stupid things, but it's the price you pay. Ultimately, I like my house. I like the neighborhood I'm in. And like I said earlier, I don't want to move my stuff again, man. I mean, it's a pain in the ass. You don't realize how much stuff you accumulate when you've been living in the same place for a while.
So I want to refer back to one of our old podcasts. What would you do, though, if you had like a scary demon haunting your house?
Scary demon haunting my house. Are we talking about the Chris Benesol episode?
There's some people that buy a house and then it's so haunted they have to move out, right? And they can't sell it because no one's going to buy a haunted house.
Yeah. Some people do want to buy a haunted house, though. Some people are into that shit, and that's a very niche market.
Very niche. That's very niche.
That's like, the kitchen has upgrades. The whole master bathroom's been redone. You've got a demonic entity living in the laundry room, so it's really valued at a market price to move.
Yeah.
So, everybody looks at things differently and values different things.
I think you're right. I would never have bought a house where someone said, "Oh, by the way, it's a haunted house." Never, not a million years. Not in a million years.
Yeah. I would want to know like what kind of haunting, like what kind of, like, are we talking like poltergeist or like occasionally a light gets flipped on? Because there's a difference.
You say tomato, I say tomato, my friend. I guess. Like when Tom bought his house, what was his drawing? Like, what was the big thing that he was looking for when he bought it?
That you have to actually ask Tom, because I do not know. And a funny thing about Tom, when he bought the house he's in currently, he didn't bother to tell anybody in the family what he was doing until he was done and moved. We just literally got by the way, here's my new address card from him.
Yeah, Tom doesn't seem to show that kind of loyalty like that. Like, it's basically, I'll tell you after the fact, but I really don't want to get you guys worried about me.
Well, in fairness, yeah, he was trying to avoid lectures from my parents because they still, I think, and my dad more so than my mom, doesn't fully understand that we're fully functional professional adults that can make our own decisions.
And you know what? That's one of the biggest things about buying a house is that this is going to be your home. You don't want to buy a house because someone said, "Oh, well, this is what you need to look for," and just buy it because it's in a great location, or buy it. You want it to be your home. And sometimes people outside of you or your family may not know what that means to you. Whereas, you know what your home is.
Yeah. And, like for me, in my case, I bought my home specifically because of the area. It just happens that I really like it, but I don't plan on being in this place forever. I know that it's gonna increase in value very quickly, especially because of the size and a few quick paint jobs and new flooring, and I can walk away with a significant profit on it. But that's a few years down the line. Until then, I'm perfectly happy living here. It's kind of away from the middle of town.
Yeah.
So
One of the biggest draws that we like about the house is the proximity to highway, stores, good school district. I mean, that location was important to us, and it just happened to work out, here.
So why would good school districts be an issue for you guys if you guys have no kids?
I think it's because because we're in the right neighborhood, that when other houses sell, because I have a feeling our neighborhood is an older neighborhood, like all the houses were built in the 70s and 80s. So I have a feeling that as the people who bought those houses begin to retire, the young couples are going to want to come into this neighborhood, update the house, get it kind of fixed up. And so that'll help maintain the value. Because what I'd hate to do is you never want to buy a house in a bad neighborhood or a neighborhood that's kind of dying off, and then your house value doesn't keep going up because you're in a neighborhood like things that are going to be coming in the future. Noreen's parents bought in an old neighborhood that basically has deteriorated or gone down. It hasn't kept its value.
That's all until some young kids come in there and just gentrify the whole neighborhood. It just takes a few couples to really get in there and start,
I'm with you,
making those improvements.
I'm with you. What'd you
So that's good. You spent your entire weekend doing.
What'd you do this week?
Chores like that. I don't know if you checked our social media, because I know how much you love the social media stuff.
I'm forbidden to talk about social media. Executive producer says I can't talk about it.
Oh, that's right. So. That's right, because you don't understand the Twitter and the Instagram and the Facebook too well.
Once and got me in big trouble.
We'll say you tweeted and call it good. I took a little trip up to Las Vegas for the day. I just had to get out of town for a couple hours. It's one of those, I'm bored. I could either do some stuff around the house that I've been putting off, but it was really hot. I was like, I didn't really feel like doing that. I needed to get out, so I went to Vegas. And
so do homework.
Don't worry, I did it
around the house or go up to Vegas. I'll go up to Vegas. Fuck it.
Relax. I did all the housework on Sunday, so it's fine.
Okay.
It was one or the other. I did it on Sunday. Get off my case. I went up there and I follow quite a few restaurants on Facebook and Instagram up there, because I've always wanted to see, like, what are the mom and pop, the non-chain restaurants up there that are really good that people are loving. And I've been following this place called Sin City Smokers.
Oh, that sounds
up
good.
in Henderson. And it's a barbecue joint that I highly recommend if you're in Las Vegas. It's on the corner of Green Valley Parkway and Sunset. And they have an eating challenge there. And I know you know how my kryptonite is an eating challenge.
And I've heard so many times, I'm retiring.
Exactly. And this one might have actually put the nail in the coffin, because it almost put a nail in the coffin.
What was that movie where the guy said, I try to get out, but they keep bringing me back in? Anyways, I'll think of it in a second. But that's what you are. They pull me out, but I keep bringing me back in, man.
Yeah, so I went up there. A friend of mine and I went up there to go just have lunch and dick around, and we went up there, and they have this challenge, and it's, for those that don't know, I used to do the big pork sandwich, the big sandwich down at Floyd's barbecue, or it used to be Redneck's Barbecue in downtown Kingman, which was 3 pounds of pork, a pound of coleslaw, and the bread weighed a pound, so 5 pounds in a half hour, and it's damn near impossible. This was, if you finished it, you got a T-shirt, but if you finished it the fastest, basically you're on the wall as the champ. So what it was is, it's on Texas toast, so it's those big thick slices of bread. It was a half pound hamburger, a half pound of brisket, a half pound of hot link, which is a sausage for those that aren't in the barbecue world, and covered in their cowboy ketchup, which is basically jalapeno ketchup, their jalapeno cheese and fried jalapenos. And go to their website. It's a very delicious sandwich. I'm sure it'd be a lot better if you ate it slower. But the trick with those is they got everything very hot, so you're not dealing with just the heat of like the Scovilles of the jalapenos. You're dealing with the actual temperature heat, which I dealt with that before with the Buffalo Wing Challenge at Wild Wings.
Yeah,
I managed to do it, man. I like they make a whole presentation of it. There's a cowbell. The guy comes out, he shakes your hand. He's the owner, and this is a grand champion barbecuer. You walk in, he's got trophies upon trophies of competitions that he's won all over the country. So this guy knows his shit. And I walk in there, and he's got a guy in the corner that I guess is a regular, and they started talking the entire time. And unbeknownst to me, I put more hot sauce barbecue on it, not realizing how hot it was going to be. And the guy just kind of looked at me like, "Are you sure you want to do it?" I was like, "Yeah, fuck it, why not?"
Oh, Scott. Oh, man.
Yeah. And I get in this zone when I eat, and you've seen that zone. You've been there.
No,
you understand.
And you're amazing. I mean, I'm not going to – I think for those of you who are listening right now and saying, I wonder what that looks like, it's an amazing feat to watch Scott do it. However, I'm a little worried about the outcome because of the heat aspect.
Well, it was 115 degrees on Saturday, so the heat outside didn't help. So it was hot inside because of the smokers. The time to beat was 5:51, and they've only been doing this challenge for, I think, about 2 months now. And when they first started it, the challenge was the current winner was at 9 minutes. So they've slowly been whittling down the time, and the current time before Saturday was 5:51. And I went to town, man. I took for anyone that's looking at doing an eating challenge like this with like a sandwich, you never eat the bread first. You take the bread off, you go straight for the middle. And that's what I did, man. I ate the hot link, and I just went to town mixing the brisket and the cheese and the burger. And I finished with the bread. And you know, in the back the entire time, I could hear the owner talking to the regular, and they weren't really shit talking, but they weren't really optimistic.
Okay.
You know, it was like, I don't know, man. Like, look how red his face is turning. Like, look at this. Like he's slowing down. Like, I don't know, man. Like, he's almost halfway done. And they started talking, and then I was drinking a Diet Coke. And traditionally, you drink water with this because otherwise you get carbonation in the stomach. And I could hear that in the back behind me too. It's like, he's drinking Diet Coke. That's a rookie move. And the whole time I'm sitting like,
yeah, I was gonna say, don't be putting that kind of shit out because Scott will destroy that.
Yeah. And that's like, all right, well, watch this. And that was about 4 minutes in. And in CrossFit, we have a thing called the pain cave where you're in the middle of a workout. You just go to that place just to get the work done. You're just doing it. You worry about the pain later. And I found my pain cave for the temperature and for all the peppers in there and whatnot. And I just ripped through it. And I am the current reigning, defending Brahma Bull champion at 5 minutes 33 seconds up at Sin City Smokers.
Was there any sort of, I apologize, I need to give you better credit where credit is due, or the guys just keep talking the crap?
No, man, they came around. They're like, that was, you know, freaking impressive. Like, we didn't think you were going to be able to do it, but that was a whole nother level of speed. And he said that we figured that this challenge would settle in about 5.5, 6 minutes as the leader. And he goes, but you shaved 18 seconds. You won by, I won by 18 seconds.
That's a long time.
That's a big time gap in that kind of contest. So not only did I smoke the record, I set the tone, and I anticipate being the champion there for at least a little while. You know, but still, it felt very good about my accomplishment. And then the next 36 hours was complete pain because it was literally like a fireball in my chest, just working its way down.
No,
you know,
I don't. Yeah, it makes complete sense, but I want to slap you around for being stupid.
Oh my God, it was only about 2.5. It was only about 2 pounds at the end of the day, so it's no different than one of my Thanksgiving sandwiches. It was just
okay.
Spicy.
Well, yeah, because I was saying half a pound, and then the Texas toast. That in and of itself doesn't sound too daunting. Now, do they sell this sandwich just as a normal sandwich for someone to buy without the food challenge?
It's an off. They'll make it for you. It's an off the menu item. But if you finish it, regardless, you get the
good.
T-shirt.
So you got a T-shirt out of it.
Yeah, right. I do these things for the t-shirts. But like driving home, I was just like, oh god, this is a terrible idea, because I could just feel like in my chest it was the worst indigestion, and I had to lay down for a couple hours to feel better. I was popping Tums left and right, and I just felt it work down like my esophagus, through my stomach, through my colon, and it wasn't pleasant afterwards, just from the whole digestion process, but. It was a very good sandwich from what I could taste before my taste buds burnt out. And I think that's where the initial burn was in my esophagus, was actually a burn from the actual temperatures.
How would you judge your ability at 39 to your ability 38? 38. Your ability at 38 to when your ability 10 years earlier. Like, do you think that 28-year-old Scott would have handled the challenge faster, differently?
I think it would have been more reckless. He'd have been more reckless because he didn't know what to expect, and he would have just been young and dumb. This is one of those veteran, like you have to know what you're doing. A younger me would have attacked like eating it like a sandwich instead of pulling apart and
so as a younger man, you just would have dove in, but as an older man, you're more seasoned. You know how to massage it better, and so you might not have gone as fast, but you went smarter into it and got it done. Wow.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, the guy was cool. He's like, there's a lot of heat and a lot of temperature, a lot of peppers in this, and you handled it really well. Next weekend at this casino, there's a wing eating contest with scorpion wings. If you can eat the most wings in 2 minutes, you get $2,500. And last year, the guy only ate 28.
Oh my!
And I just kept thinking scorpion peppers they're right below ghosts.
Well, so, I remember the time when you did that challenge up at Buffalo Wild Wings, and I was so impressed. But then I remembered that our friend Pauliv, he would order the same number of wings, but he slow ate them. Remember that? He didn't even wrap it. He was just like enjoying them and you're like putting them in your mouth and putting them in your mouth and putting it as fast as you can to get through it. He was like slow biting it. I was like, that's insane, man. Insane.
Yeah. So it was a fun weekend. I was so proud of myself because, I did set the record. I went up there. I did what I said I was going to do. And like I said, I'm the current champ. I'm kind of proud of that. I was telling my parents about it when they got home from Williams for the weekend. And my mom flat out said, "Are you stupid? You could die from that now. You're almost 40. Like, do you want to drop dead of a heart attack in the middle of an eating contest?" And in fairness, if I'm going to go, that's one of the ways I think I'd be
Scott,
okay going.
This is going to be crazy, but we might have found something to put on your tombstone, buddy. I mean,
we might have.
We might have to put that on the tombstone when we get to that point.
I think that might not be a bad idea.
You could drop dead at 40.
Oh my God, it was hilarious.
A nurse, though. A nurse always going to ruin the fun because they want to be so clinical all the time.
Right. And at least my dad was cool. But I was like, "So was it good? Like, did you is it worth going back to?" And it is very much worth going back to. They have great food. It's a cool place. And if someone does beat my time, I might be tempted to go back and try to get my title back. But I'm going to think long and hard about it because that's to go that much faster.
Now, wait a minute. Do they put your name and your time or just your time?
Name and time on the wall. Yeah.
So we're getting close to the end. So do a quick plug again for this place. I know that we don't like corporate sponsorship, but it's a free plug. So tell us again where it is, where it's located.
Yeah, that's Steve at Sin City Smokers on the corner of Green Valley Parkway and Sunset in Henderson, Nevada, which is a suburb of Las Vegas. For not listening, they got great barbecue. It's a great atmosphere. Check them out. They're open 7 days a week from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Hit them up on social media. They're on Facebook and Instagram. Check out their food. They've got daily specials that are just amazing. And on top of that, if we want to hear what dumb things you might have done over the weekend, hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, all at Liquid Kernedge. And if you still want to give Tom some backyard improvement tips, hit him up on Twitter and Instagram, all at Liquid_.
I think it's funny that we've been doing this podcast long enough now that we can have the same weekend and have totally different lives going.
Right.
totally different goals of what we want to accomplish.
Right. You're improvising your backyard. I'm risking a coronary.
Exactly. Hey, and the fastest time. I like that.
And the fastest time. I do have pictures of the sandwich and me holding the T-shirt on our Instagram and Facebook page. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out. Like I said, at Liquid Kernedge, go check them out. It's a good time. Jason,
hey, thanks for everyone for listening. We really appreciate you. That was Scott. I am Jason. And as always, if you never know quite what to say, just have yourself some Liquid Kernedge.